You know, brothers, a lot of times in life, when you work for corporate America, you got to realize that there's going to be a lot of times where they're going to ask you to come in and do extra hours, come in and work hard. You're going to be doing manual labor, some of you who you basically you busting your backs, getting injured on the job maybe even, shortening your work expectancy in life. You might have to go into early retirement, which will cause you to make less money. You might have to work 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week for one job. Know what I'm saying? And they're going to get as much of the juice that they can out of that orange. But you got to realize at the end of the day, the reason why that's the case is because they're the owners and you're the employee. You might, at some point in time feel like you need a raise, or, they need to pay you more than they're paying everybody else to do the same job. Or you need a promotion. And you might get snubbed for the promotion. You might not get that raise. But you still got to come into work because you got to make money. You got to eat. And that's just how life is, man. Sometimes it's not fair. And sometimes the shit sucks. Like, let's just be honest. Like, how many of you guys had crappy ass jobs in life? You feel me? Or how many of you have had owners who butter you up? Tell you, you the greatest thing since sliced bread. Only to, snub you when it's time to pay you what you feel like you should be worth. What you believe your work is worth. It happens all the time, man. But at the same time, unless you decide to lead a company, you're the employee, right? That's the owner. They own the company. You work for the company. I've seen it happen, in my own personal life with my parents, who basically built companies up from the ground up, only to feel like they're, a part of ownership until it's time to cut that check. And you're not a part of ownership. Like, it's just what it is. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality of it. If you want to be an owner, you start your own. Start your own business. And I think what I respect about it is that the owner realizes that they're the owner at the end of the day. And that's what I think about this whole situation with Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley. And I think a lot of people are surprised, especially a lot of YouTubers. They're out there, they're like, wow, I'm surprised people aren't taking the players back on this. But I think too much of the players back has been held over the last decade when it comes to the mistreatment or feeling like ownership isn't doing shit right, or the ownership just basically kowtow into players. It happens all the time. Players are always getting what they want, and when they don't get what they want, they throw a fit. And to be honest with you, it's hard to feel bad for a millionaire. It just is. It always will be. You're worth literally hundreds of millions of dollars to play a kid's game. You want even more money, even though in a few years you won't be worth the money that you want. You want that security. You have somebody who don't want to give you the security, and you're upset by it. So you sit here, you throw tantrums, you play games, you BS, you figure out a way to get what you want. And when you can't get what you want to go to a place where they will give you what you want, even if that means going to a losing franchise. You're going to go to NBA Siberia for one sake, and that's money. But at the end of the day, the respect and the reason why a lot of fans can respect the situation is that you got somebody like Pat Riley who's going to stand 10 toes down no matter what. He don't care who you is. He don't care where you from. He don't care what you done did. It's about what they think you can do going forward. That man stands 10 toes down, and that is the mindset of somebody who has a ruling class mentality. I am the owner. You are the employee. Never forget that. So I'm going to let them talk about it, man. This is AM Hoops, man. He got this video out for y'all. I'm going to let them talk about it, man, and I'm going to just go ahead and chime in. Like, comment, subscribe.
Not many people noticed this about Jimmy Butler here. First play of the game, Jimmy was in the corner, but he calls for the ball, takes on 3 Pacers to score. He didn't score another field goal till the 3rd quarter of the game. Pretty much stood around like this and watched his teammates play. The message? I could do this whenever I want, but you're not gonna see it the rest of the game. Just letting us all know who he can be, and if it wasn't clear enough, dude set the press conference on fire.
I want to see me get my joy back from playing basketball. And wherever that may be, we'll find out here pretty soon. But I want to get my joy back. I'm happy here, off the court.
Can you get your joy back here on the court?
Probably not.
And after that, Shams reported Jimmy officially made a trade request. Oh, to Phoenix or the Warriors? No, anywhere but here is
I
what.
don't like how reporters give out softball questions. I get it though, because Jimmy dropping the gym and you're going to make some money off that. But I don't know. I just think I would have criticized them more for it. Like, okay, what do you mean by joy? Like, who cares about your joy, bro? You're a grown-ass man. Jimmy, you're 35. You're 35 fucking years old, bro. You're an old head at this point in the NBA. You're talking about basketball joy? This isn't the playground, bro. You're a grown-ass man. Act like it. Who gives a damn about what you're joyful of? Do you think I get up in the morning and go to work because I'm joyful for it? You think Americans get up because of joy? Glee? It's a benefit when you love your job, and that's great and that's dandy. But most people would rather sit at home and watch Looney Tunes. Everybody don't want to get up to go to work, bro. But they still paying you. That's my problem with the player empowerment era and just players in general in this generation. I'm not saying Jimmy's the first person to do this, but I criticize it any time I see it. I don't even give a damn who the player is. Like, bro, this team has paid you accordingly. You came to this team when you were down on your luck and getting kicked out by the Timberwolves and being called and not paid the way you wanted to be paid with the Sixers. You came to this team. You were good enough to go nuclear in the playoffs and take them to the finals 2 separate occasions in an often topsy-turvy Eastern Conference. So you've put the work in, and I got respect for the work you've put in. But basketball and coming to work ain't about joy, bro. That's what I mean about ruling class mentality. That's the mindset of a peasant, being upset, pouting. I don't get my way. I want my money. About to go to NBA Siberia. And to make what I'm saying clear to you guys, Pat Riley's not asking this man to take a pay cut. He's simply asking him to get paid according to what he's worth. Jimmy, at 35, you are not averaging 19 points a game when you want to. You are not worth a supermax extension. I'm sorry, you just aren't. If a team wants to pay you that much for the simple fact that you're going to sell out tickets or they just want to improve the roster just a little bit, which is asinine and crazy, seeing how the new NBA salary thing basically prevents you from having super teams nowadays. But if that's what a team wants to do, then that's what they want to do. Pat Riley ain't doing that though, bruh. Sorry. He's not the one. He didn't do it for Shaq. He didn't even do it for Wade. He ain't doing that for you.
What Shams said. That is how bad Jimmy wants a trade. Oh, this was fun and games before, but now Jimmy is going next level. His first 17 games this year around his normal averages, but the last 5, dude, he's throwing a fit on the court. This is James Harden level toxic.
Pouting like a little ass baby. Same thing I said about James Harden. Little ass kids in the league, bro. Too much power given to players. At the end of the day, I say it all the time, bro. These players are just dumb jocks at the end of the day, bro. They're dumbass jocks. They're Flash Thompson from Spider-Man, bro. Schoolyard bully / athletes. They bullying teams by doing this type of bullshit right here, and they're just athletes, bro. That's just what they are. Look at these numbers, bro. A 19-point per game guy is D'Angelo Russell, by the way. Don't get me wrong. Jimmy a two-way player, and he locks in the playoffs and turns into a super-duper star. But these is his regular season games. And they pay you for the regular season. They don't pay you for the playoffs. You get extra money for that. These contracts these dudes are signing are regular season contracts. And he already got a max extension years ago as a 19 point per guy. Basically Pau Gasol. Like I don't know what more you want me to tell you, bro.
Which I didn't think we would ever see from Jimmy Butler on the court. I mean, he prides himself on playing hard, but we finally found out what's made him so angry. Let's take a look at that, and what is Jimmy's trade value now that he's acting out? But I've been having success on Underdog. I define success on Underdog.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. At 35, all that hair, all that putting the pink extensions and stuff, like that shit cool when you 18. It's cool when you 16 in high school. It's cool when you 15. Know what I'm saying? It's cool when you in elementary school. You be in middle school and you got all the designs in your haircut and you have them line you up and give you all those designs and you look all cool and smooth. Or you do it when you 20 something. Like it's cool and all, but at 35, getting closer to 40, bro, why do you have pink extensions in your hair? Why is he the one doing all the trolling? And it's funny, like when he does like the emo look and all of that. That's all funny for the media day press conference. But this green, this pink and stuff, bro, you're a man at the end of the day. You got balls. You got a dick and balls, bro. Like you're supposed to be standing on your own too. You acting like an abandoned stepchild. And you can be I think Jimmy has some issues like that, but at 35, bro, you got to get over it. Dress like a man. You should be coming to work in a suit and tie every day, doing what you're supposed to do, put on your basketball uniform, go to work. Stop trying to look cute for the camera. It just screams narcissism, and it screams you're not ready.
Free pick. Jimmy was up for a contract extension, so last offseason, the media asked Pat Riley. He said Jimmy's not worth a max contract at 35 years old. Yes, he took them to 2 finals, but the Heat don't reward anyone for what they've done. This isn't the LA Lakers. Riley said
Pat Riley's a ruler. Pat Riley stands on his own 10 toes down.
no to Alonzo Mourning back in the day. Dwayne Wade, so he sure is not going to cave to Jimmy Butler. But maybe once the season got...
He traded Shaq for talking back to him. Just for talking back to him, bro. Like, he said no to LeBron James when he tried to get Eric Spoelstra, who, by the way, we know is one of the greatest coaches of all time. Shows you how much LeBron knows, because he was calling for his job. Mr. I got 8 or 9 coaches in my career, LeBron, right? He even said no to that dude. Pat Riley, you have to give him respect. He does not kowtow to players. You are the player. You work for me. And that's how it's supposed to be. This is a business. This isn't a game. It's a game, but maybe that's a bad word. But it's not a game. It's not jokes. You're here to come to work. We're here to win. You're supposed to take this seriously. Jimmy Butler doing all that to his hair, and when other players do it too, like, you're just not taking it seriously at that age, bro. I could let a Kyle Kuzma walk around with that weird ass Cisco haircut of his. But if Kyle Kuzma was 37 doing it, I'd be like, bro, what is wrong? Is something going on at home you need to talk about? Age matters, bro.
Started, they could negotiate. No.
How much respect, for example, if y'all have seen that show, in the Black Verse, Baddies, right? How much respect do you give to all the women on Baddies? Sure, they look good. Sure, they got BBLs and all of that, and Natalie Nunn. But all of them are in their 40s, bro. If you really sit there and look at those women hard enough, the ones that are fighting all day long, punching each other up, they all between the ages of 36 and 44. Old ass hags. And they sitting there all day long, twerking it up, turning up at all the parties, and beating each other's asses. I'm just like, yeah, these are some big ass, grown ass kids, bro. And I shake my head. All these tattoos, all these weaves up and down the joint. Bro, you're not 20 no more. You're not an 18-year-old girl. You're 40 something. Act like it.
Miami has been clear.
You got kids and a family, or should at least have a husband, but I see why you're single, of course. But you got kids and stuff, bro. Come on, man. Why you acting younger than your daughter?
There is no max contract coming for you, ever. So Jimmy leaked that he wants a trade, but he was sneaky about it. See, Jimmy doesn't want to be labeled toxic or hard to work with. That used to follow him around for years. So when Shams reports it, Jimmy must have told his agent, yo, go back hard on Shams on social media. Then he dyes his hair different colors. Oh, he could deny it. He's trying to slow play this. But
that's the stuff I'm talking about right there, man. Let me rewind that. Come on, bro. Jimmy, you're not 25 no more, bro. This isn't you on the Chicago Bulls. You're 35. You finna be 36. Bro, could you imagine, can y'all imagine going to work tomorrow? I don't know where you work, but let's say you work in the office. You guys work in the office, it's a suit and tie type of setup. And you come in tomorrow and Buddy got a suit and tie on and blue extensions in his hair. Red extensions on the side. Like, could you imagine what the boss is looking at him thinking? This the guy? I don't know. I don't see it in my workplace. I don't know, man. It's not something I can get with.
Deny it. He's trying to slow play this. But Pat Riley's statement changed everything. We usually don't comment on rumors, but all this speculation has become a distraction to the team, and it's not fair to the players and coaches. Therefore, we will make it clear. We are not trading Jimmy Butler. And does Pat Riley really think that statement's gonna kill the rumors? No, it was a message to Jimmy. If you really want out, you're gonna have to get toxic. Okay, you can't have it both ways. You can't demand out of here and protect your little reputation. At the same time, it was a message to other teams. See, the Heat have been taking calls about Jimmy, but they haven't liked what the offers are. They have got to up their packages. So
Pat Riley's a smart man, bro. This dude literally just told Jimmy, like, yo, you can leave. I'm saying you can get on. We'll try to trade for you. We're not just going to give you up for nothing, number one. But if you want to sit here and, they're lowballing us, of course, but if you really want to leave, you're going to have to come out here and look like the toxic guy that you are. The toxic guy that you are. You got butthurt when I called you out last year at the last game of the year, right? And then you got butthurt when you sat down with me and it was time to talk contracts extensions and there wasn't much to talk about. Your feelings are hurt, so now you're getting toxic. Show your toxic side, bro. Just like you did when you left the Timberwolves. Just like you did when you left the Sixers. Show who you really are. I'm not going to play that game with you. Expose you. That's the mindset of a ruler, bro. That's the mindset of somebody who don't got time to play.
now Jimmy is back to being his toxic self because the easy way wasn't working. But he's also lying to us. Shams reports a member of
again, bro, you're 35, man.
The coaching staff confronted Jimmy that he wasn't playing hard in the win over New Orleans. Shams said that was the last straw that pushed Jimmy over the edge. But that's not true. I mean, if Jimmy cared about competing on the court, why not just take a pay cut to remain in Miami? Oh, it's because his number one priority actually is to get...
Real quick, I don't like Shams for that very reason, bro. He comes out and he makes lies up to defend the players. I have this issue for NBA players, though. I'm pretty sure if they met me, most of them wouldn't like me. Like, I get it. And I do have an understanding, like, it is a business. They, at this point in the NBA lifestyle, they all want to be celebrities. All NBA players back in the day weren't celebrities. They didn't have Instagram accounts with millions of followers. Their biggest mindset now is to be a celebrity. Why? Because celebrities get paid to be celebrities. It's easier money. You can get paid just for being famous on all platforms. It's more money, it's more opportunity. Branding yourself, shoe deals and stuff like that. I understand it's more lucrative for them to be, but it's also toxic to their mindset. They don't want to work hard in the All-Star game because they don't want to look bad in front of the world. You get what I'm saying? They don't care about winning championships no more because everybody's already telling them they're damn near God. Everybody's telling them they're the greatest now. They don't need to win to have that championship, a Larry O'Brien trophy sitting at their house and those rings. They don't need that anymore. So the winning aspect of basketball is no longer top priority. It's more obsolete. And it's for stuff like this. Just make sure I'm getting paid on the court, and I want to make sure I'm getting paid off the court and have a career during retirement. That's like their mindset now, which honestly, I hope if it doesn't change, I hope it changes. But if it never does, I hope it totally destroys this league. And a cataclysmic meltdown where the next time it's time for TV deals in the next 6 to 7 years, there aren't any deals available. I hope it turns into that if it doesn't get better. Because if not, then it'll just be a league that I'm no longer, at this point, we're already like debating on it, but it's just a league that you no longer want to have anything to deal with because they no longer market to people like me who actually want to see competitors compete. I don't think the league is. I mean, Adam Silver, honestly, through his conversations, you could tell he doesn't care about that. He's not really out here in the mindset of it being about competitiveness. It's more for him evening out the ratios, so there's always a good guy on each side. If Luka's team can be just as good as the Knicks and the Lakers and the Nuggets and the Celtics and whoever else, who cares, right? Nobody's a loser when everybody's in the mid. It's mid and don't really care about winning. Like, nobody's really the loser at the end of the day. You're never going to criticize Paul George's career and say he didn't win a championship. That's basically what it is. And then the top 10 GOATs that are the current GOATs right now, the Larry Birds, the Kareems, the Jordans, the Kobes and whatnot, they'll just stay in the list and nobody else will ever really compete to take them over. That's basically what it seems like the NBA is going to me.
Get paid above everything else. Dude wanted to trade before they said he didn't play hard. How is that the last straw? And do you remember that report last summer that said Jimmy was interested in the Brooklyn Nets? The report even said, Butler isn't just open to Brooklyn, he's fond of it. Does that sound like a guy who cares about competing? No, the Nets? They just so happen to be the only team with max cap space this next summer. He's not fond of the Nets, he's fond of their money. So Jimmy's number one priority at this point of his career is not to compete for a championship. It is to get paid. Now,
thank you for saying that, AM Hoops. Shout out to you. You even made a whole graph on it. This isn't just a Jimmy Butler thing. This is just players in general. Their number one priority is never to compete for championships. I don't think there's a player in the league outside of Steph Curry and LeBron. Honestly, I can't even say LeBron. He's not trying to compete currently. 10 years ago, like, that's all he cared about. He's not in the interest of competing for championships right now. Steph Curry's probably the only one. But because he's with the Warriors, like, you know, he's won so much with them, I don't ever see him leaving. Can you really tell me, like, anybody in the comment section, like, what other players in the league do you watch and go, oh, they really want to win? Jason Tatum and the Celtics? I could believe that, but it's easier to even say that because they have all the talent in the world, basically. They got a super team down there over there. Like, of course they want to win. Outside of them, like, who else gives a fuck about winning? And let's be honest, if Jaylen Brown had to, he signed a $300-something million contract. Would he have signed for $100 million less if it meant winning? Would Jason Tatum do that? If it meant winning, do you think he would take a pay cut for the sake of keeping all the players on that team together when all their contracts expire? We will see in the future, but I will say no. I would say he signs the max and somebody leaves when it's time to pay. That's just my opinion. These players care about the dollar bill more than winning. And if you look at NBA history, whether it was Tim Duncan on the Spurs, whether it was the Heat trio that signed together, know what I'm saying? Whether it was the Pistons, honestly, yep, and teams like that, they've always had players, or even the Kevin Durant Warriors, where Kevin Durant took a pay cut. Like, winners take pay cuts. Outside of being with the Lakers, of course, winners take pay cuts, bro. They just do. If you want to win, you take a pay cut. Jimmy Butler, I don't think can win with the Heat. I don't think they have enough, and I don't think they can get enough talent to win. But he's not saying, get me out of here and take me to the Warriors and I'll sign for the vet minimum. I'll sign for the mid-level. He's not saying I'll go to the Warriors for whatever, what's that dude name? Andrew Wiggins is getting paid right now. And we could just swap contracts. Nah, he's not saying that at all.
Now, he'll take both at the same time, right? If he can get to the Warriors or the Suns, whatever. But I'm not mad at him. Just get your money, right? But he wants us all to think now he's so upset about being accused of not playing hard. No, he's upset that the Heat won't give him a bag. That's it. So where is Jimmy gonna go next? I know Pat Riley said that they're not gonna trade him, but that's over now, okay? This has become way too toxic. He is gone. But to where? Well, this is where the Heat actually kind of messed up. If they knew that a max contract wasn't coming, they should have traded him last summer. His value was way higher than it is now. And
that's the only issue I could say I have for a lot of these teams, man. The fear of trading talent is so strong in the league. Zion should have been going from the Pelicans, in my opinion, and so should have Brandon Ingram. For example, Brandon Ingram, they just decided they're not going to re-sign him. They're going to try to trade him, but they should have did that like 2-3 years ago when when they signed him and they realized a few seasons ago they weren't going to keep him. These teams sometimes move too slow, in my opinion. Kevin Durant, for example, they still got a ransom for him, but like you should have traded him and got even more. I would trade these players while they're asleep in bed and don't even realize they're being traded. Because it's all a money thing for them anyway. When I realize a player isn't going to win, get him out of there. Like LeBron is one of those players who I would have got rid of years ago if I was the Lakers. They're not going to do that. Don't know why. But I would do that shit. Star players got to go. If I'm the 76ers, like I would trade Joel Embiid before he asks for a trade. But some teams really believe that they can't trade you until you want to be. That's agreeable if you're Giannis. That makes sense if you're Nikola Jokic. If you're a current top 3 player, that makes sense. If you're an injury-prone Embiid, for example, who clearly we won't win with, and if winning is the main priority, not selling tickets, but winning, I get Embiid out of here. I send him to the Thunder and gut their entire roster of everybody except for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I take Jalen Williams. I take Chet Holmgren and like 10 picks and send him to the Thunder. That's just what I would do, but I think part of having that mentality of an owner, part of having ruling class mentality is when it's time to cut ties. You know you're not paying Jimmy. You know this is what he wants. I would have traded him before it became a situation, before it even became an argument, before we even had to sit down at the table. Look, Jimmy, I knew what you want. I couldn't give it to you. I'd have asked him in silence a season and a half ago, and I would have gauged what he gave me as an answer, and then I would have started shopping him under the table.
Could have gotten a really good package to retool. Instead, they kept him, and this was always how it's going to end. I mean, just look at Jimmy's history. Now they're negotiating from a position of weakness because the other teams know how uncomfortable this is for them, and they have got to trade him, so they're not going to offer their biggest deal. I've seen some people say, oh, Jimmy Butler for some second-round picks. No, he is worth more than that, but how much more? Well, Jimmy's trade list actually does matter here. He could be a free agent this summer and would be willing to re-sign in all those places. It makes no sense for a different team to trade for him if he's just going to leave in a few months. So to recap, Jimmy's preferred teams, according to Shams, are the Suns, Warriors, Rockets, and Mavericks. But he also said any
That Suns just would never happen. The Suns are in cap hell. That's stupid. Bradley Beal has a no trade clause. That's just dumb. I don't think he's gonna want to get traded to the Heat. And even if you could, if I'm Pat Riley, what am I getting? Like, why would I trade Jimmy Butler for Bradley Beal? Bradley Beal is a waste of space to me. Like, he's not a defensively minded player, and he's always hurt. Offensively, he's whatever. Like, he was on a losing-ass Wizards team and looked good for a trash-ass team. He's not a winner. He's not going to play hard either. I don't see, like, the Warriors make sense. Who are the other teams that?
are the Suns, Warriors, Rockets, and
The Rockets and the Mavs. The Rockets is young. I mean, if you want to try to push them to win now, sure. Let them give you a couple of picks. And I think they have cap. Like, you know, you could fit them under the cap. I wouldn't do that. The Mavericks just signed Klay Thompson. If they somehow got cap, I don't see that even being a thing. And why would they want to max extension him when they just gave Kyrie Irving a pretty solid deal and they just max extension Luka? Like, that doesn't even make sense right there. I don't even see that team winning a championship. The Warriors, Steph Curry is the best player. Like, I could see that happening, depending on what they're giving up. You know what I'm saying? You can give up Kuminga a couple of picks or whatever, call that a done deal. Or give up Wiggins. You know what I'm saying? Because Wiggins, let's be honest, is too up and down. That's a bad deal. I would give up Wiggins and some picks, but is that what the Heat want? Who knows? Most of these teams, the Lakers, that's just laughable. I can see them doing it because they so fucking stupid over there in LA. I can see them gutting Reeves and everybody else to make LeBron happy, put Jimmy Butler as a third, and still watch this team lose.
Mavericks.
Because
But he
LeBron
also
and watch them lose because LeBron don't play no defense.
Rockets, and Mavericks. But he also said anywhere but Miami. Wouldn't it be hilarious if Pat Riley was like, oh, you want out, huh? Okay, you're a Wizard. We'll take Kyle Kuzma and a second-round pick. But Riley, ultimately, it would be funny, but he's going to do whatever is best for the Miami Heat. But do those preferred teams actually want Jimmy Butler? I mean, I don't think the Rockets do because he's so much older than their core. Are the Warriors excited at this point, now that Jimmy's reminded all of us of how dysfunctional he can be? We know the Suns do want him bad, but the only way is to trade Bradley Beal, and Shams also said, sources told ESPN that the Heat have no desire to take back Bradley Beal, and that Phoenix would have to find a third team to get involved to make a deal work. No desire for Bradley Beal, but he has a no trade clause. So whatever that third team is, it would have to be somewhere that Bradley Beal really wants to go. Okay, it's not going to happen. So what about...
Funny that I just said that.
the Memphis Grizzlies? Jimmy actually plays the one position they really need, which is on the wing. They've made playoff runs, but they could use a tested veteran like Jimmy Butler. He also would become their number 2 offensive player behind Ja, which then slides Jaren Jackson Jr. to number 3, which is probably where his skill set fits best on offense. He also fits with their gritty personality. I think the Grizz deal is perfect if Jimmy says, yes, I will re-sign there. Or maybe...
I mean, with Ja, if Ja gets back healthy, and because he's just been hurt ever since that whole gun incident, but if he's back healthy, and then you got Jimmy Butler as your second, and Jimmy Butler we know goes nuclear in the playoffs, that'd actually be a good move for the Grizzlies, and it's a risk type of move that they should take because they really haven't taken any risk since, honestly, period. They haven't taken any risk, period, and they're not a destination for free agency. So, yeah, I would do that. Also, the Denver Nuggets, I would definitely do that. I'm not giving up Michael Porter, but I could see them giving up Gordon. I could see them giving up Gordon. You got to keep Murray. You got to keep But I would also need like another player from the Heat. Like I need another big or a role type of player that's really like a 6 man off the bench because they have no bench over there. But you do have Jokic, you have, and then to put Jimmy Butler with Michael Porter and Jamal Murray, that'd be absolutely, honestly incredible. And offensively, he'll be a million times better than what Aaron Gordon gives you. Defensively, he's still there. Jimmy Butler can guard the 3 and the 4 and the 2. So I'd probably, if I was the Nuggets, that's the team I think should pull the trigger. And if not them, the Grizzlies in the West.
Maybe the Denver Nuggets? They've got a first-round pick to trade, plus Michael Porter Jr. But why would Denver get Jimmy, knowing if he's unhappy for a second?
And let me say this. They don't have the assets to do it, but I don't think they do. At least I don't think they do, because I don't think they have any draft picks. But the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm throwing that Chris Middleton contract out there immediately. And then I'm going to try to trade Chris Middleton and whatever picks they got left for Jimmy Butler. If I'm Milwaukee, desperately, you need Jimmy Butler to play that defense and to be right next to Dame and Giannis. I don't think Milwaukee has the balls to do it or the assets, though.
He will make it so uncomfortable. I know people will say De'Aaron Fox for Jimmy Butler, but Fox is not a number one to compete for championships. What the Heat should do is get back expiring contracts and maybe a pick, because that opens up flexibility. The $14 million mid-level, the $5.1 million biannual exception this summer to sign free agents. Plus, if the expirings come off the books, they can open up max cap space in 2026.
Okay, guys, relax, AM. AM Hoops, you need to relax, bro. I get it. They don't want to pay Jimmy Butler because they don't want to waste money. But that doesn't mean that they want to save money. I don't think that they're just expiring contracts for that level of a player is laughable, dog. You're tripping. You're tripping. I need some picks if I'm going to do that. If the Miami Heat want to rebuild, which, let's be honest, history tells us they never do. They haven't. They should have rebuilt after LeBron. They don't. They didn't even rebuild before Wade. Like, they don't rebuild. So they're going to want players. Brooklyn Nets has the most young talent for them. But if no. Let's just say no to that. Like, they're not doing a whole salary cap dump. So if I was the Miami Heat, you got to get an all-star level player or a young player. Like, I need either a young Brandon Ingram makes so much sense, for example. He's not that young though. He damn sure not young. He's a vet now, but Brandon Ingram makes sense. If the Pelicans are looking to make a risky move, Brandon Ingram in a pick, or a real young player in some picks. Like, give me last year's top 10 first round player pick and let me develop him. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing if I'm the Heat, or getting like an already all-star level player like Brandon Ingram. Give me something like that.
We all know Miami is a free agent destination, and 2026 free agents are De'Aaron Fox, okay, not great, Trae Young, and Luka Doncic. But whatever happens, I think it is...
None of those players are winners except for Luka. Luka's not leaving. Trae Young's not. He's too defensively inept, and De'Aaron Fox is... No, come on, bro.
Guaranteed now, Jimmy Butler gets traded this season.
And I'm going to laugh my ass off. If there's a team out there right now, foaming at the mouth because De'Aaron Fox and Trae Young are about to be available. Gone are the days of the 2018 free agency, man. I'll tell y'all that much.
And it could be a huge trade for whoever gets him, because when Jimmy is happy, he is also one of the best big game players in the NBA. But speaking of De'Aaron Fox, things are also dysfunctional in Sacramento. I know that's a shock. But they fired Coach Mike Brown, and there have been allegations that De'Aaron Fox might have been behind it.
So that's going to be it, man. All I want to say is, shout out to Pat Riley, bro. Ruling class mentality, man. This dude is not somebody who kowtows to anyone. He doesn't care who you are. And honestly, if the other 29 teams in the league had the same mindset, we'd have a supreme NBA right now, a dominant NBA. Gone need to be the days of giving players what they want because they're throwing hissy fits. And everybody should stand accordingly. If Jimmy Butler pouts, all 29 other teams, the problem is they're snakes and dogs, and one of them will take your problems. But all 29 other teams should be like, nope, you got a problem with Pat, you got a problem with me. And that would keep the foundation and the ruling mindset in the league there if that's how other teams thought. But unfortunately, they don't. Pat Riley's going to get rid of this dude. He's 35. It's honestly about time for Jimmy to retire the next 2 seasons anyway, even though he's, and one thing about this player empowerment and this whole like load management thing that nobody ever talks about is the fact that the reason why players love load management is because playing 50 games a season instead of 80 games allows you to play more years, which allows you to make more money as a max contract guy. I mean, look at Paul George. Motherfucker should have retired. Look how trash he is, and look how much money he's finna make for years to come. Everybody's chasing that bag. And all these years of him not playing basketball, like, no one cares. The silly teams like the Sixers still sign him. They don't care. Like, they're weasels at the end of the day. They don't look at the long haul. If a player plays 50 games in a season for multiple years, I don't know why you expect them to take you over the hump or why you pay them the way you pay them. Now that's one of the worst contracts in the league. 200 and something million, right? If I remember correctly. Yeah, the Heat aren't stupid. They're not finna get Paul George by Jimmy Butler. Sorry. Like, comment, subscribe, man. Appreciate y'all watching these videos, man. Like I said, I always watch the comment section. Man, let's get into it and get this debate started, man. I'm up out of here.